Why did my screen just go weird?
Because you're sharing it in two different formats. You have the phone format and you
Yep.
have so that's, I don't know why, but that's what you're,
That's never done that high vertical.
yeah.
I've never had that pop up. That's weird. What's up, Jim? But yeah, so we're going to use, Creators Corner to talk to artists and creators and writers and inkers and everyone that kind of has a leg in this industry. We'll be rotating guests every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Central. We'll all try to be here for you guys every week. There'll be some weeks that some of it might be Laurie and Chris, or it might be me and Laurie, or, because we may have other obligations or out of town, things like that. But we'll do our best to be live every Wednesday. And, we'll bring on, promoters, we'll bring on, comic shop owners, things like that, to kind of give you guys some of the behind the scenes of what goes into this industry. Everything's super positive, and we'll try to have fun with it and things like that. Just for anybody that might be tuning in for the first time, Miss Laurie, give everybody a quick little breakdown of who you are and what you do in this industry.
Hello, I'm Laurie Calcaterra. I'm a writer, creator. I know I'm so tired. What's happened is I'm gonna get slap happy real quick. I am also a letterer and I format things. So I do all the crap that nobody else wants to do. But it's great because you can call me when you're in a bind and I will help you fix your comic. So, yeah, but I love writing. I write a lot of horror. That's why I'm friends with these weirdos. And yeah, I like comics. I like long walks on the beach. And I think the perfect date is April 25th because it's not too hot and it's not too cold.
There you go.
That is all.
And then, of course, you're the creator, writer of Path of the Pale Rider.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys will have to bear with us a little bit. We are all exhausted.
I'm like, I don't even know my name.
Yeah.
That's true, Michael. I do all the crap. Get it? I
Good.
do the crap.
Mr. Chris Hayes, give them your little spiel.
Well, you just told them my name, and it's across the bottom. So I'm Chris Hayes. I'm a writer, creator, owner of Charter Comics, writer of a lot of books that are out, over 32 now, that we have out, with more coming. And yes, Laurie is my letterer. As a matter of fact, she just finished writing or lettering the new,
thing.
the Heist that's coming out. One of the short stories in the hardcover that I'm about to launch on Kickstarter. So I'm sure we'll get to all that in the next couple of weeks, but we'll move it on over to William.
Yep. And then, of course, I'm William Russell, artist, cover artist for tons of books, from Image Comics to Dynamite to crap loads of indie. I'm also the creator of Psycho Sal, serial killer in New Orleans in the 1980s, Cursed Moonlight, and Rise of the Mummy. I've been doing this professionally now for about 8 years. I do the Comic-Con circuits all year long, also traveling mostly on the East Coast. So I get to deal with a lot of that. But of course, I get to deal with these guys. And Chris and Laurie both have done writing on Psycho Sal for me. Laurie's done a lot of the lettering for Cursed Moonlight, Rise of the Mummy, Psycho Sal. So again, all the kind of stuff nobody else wants to do. But yeah, so we all kind of have different avenues that we entered this industry, and then also how we work in this industry. And then, of course, tonight we're going to bring on Sam Vera, who's another talented artist and creator, and just an absolutely super cool guy. One of my favorite people. I have a blast.
That's kind of pushing it, I would say.
Say what? That's pushing it?
I'm kidding. Love you, Sam.
So let's bring Sam on, because everybody in the audience, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. We will answer them the best we can. But yeah, let's grab Sam here. Hello, Mr. Sam.
You'll never find.
That is an active background. That is active.
Yeah. What's up?
Almost puts Williams to shame. Larry's is just messy.
I know. I got all my boxes over here. Stuff.
What's up?
Stuff. But welcome, Sam. Give everybody real quick that might be new to you. give them a little rundown on who you are, what facet you fit into with this industry, and what you got going on.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sam, the Crazy Man Vera. I founded Catch the Craze podcast back in 2005, the first independent comic book podcast in the game, and the longest running. And I'm also a comic book creator, known for There's an Alien on My Toilet, Forbidden, and now Cosmic Wars.
Yeah, and that one, when I first met you and I saw your booth, at first I thought I was like, at a Dollar General or something, but no, I'm just kidding.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
You thought it was going to be a nice show. Nah.
I got poked a little fun at him. But yeah, you've been in this for a minute, and your whole little alien project, dude, that's I see all the characters because he role plays like all these different characters with Duty, right?
Yes.
So and don't forget, guys, we got the Duty sauce coming and all that. So
yes, it is Duty
You
juice.
pay me for that.
Duty juice.
Brown.
Duty juice.
One of them it is brown, like the Duty drops, and then we got the Duty juice. But so when where everyone else is kind of jumping into the industry, and I'll let Chris and him ask you some questions too, of course, but I'm curious about that, where you have people that are jumping into the more heavy detail or the more superhero full-blown type of concept. You went a different route with what you were coming into it with. What made you choose that versus kind of what everyone else was doing?
You could thank Mark Silvestri from Top Cow for that, because when I was younger and I'm working out my craft, I was trying to fit an image, and image was the influence, right? I was trying to be like everybody else, and I sent a submission into Top Cow, and what I got back in the mail was not a letter. It was photocopies of Michael Turner's portfolio, basically telling me if it doesn't look like this, don't bother. That was the message, right?
Wow.
So then I had to sit in the yard and I pondered for a second, and I was like, all right, that sucks. And then I realized I got to find my own lane. So I just started, I saw the documentary with Charles Schultz and Peanuts and Jim Davis with Garfield. And I said, you know what, I'm going to find my own voice and my own lane. And I just started just drawing what I love to draw. And that's how my style formed.
Very cool. Yeah, wow. I think I would have scribbled on that portfolio and sent the pictures back. But yeah, so but it's done really well for you. Like, I mean, I see the fans at the shows. I've been to several shows where I've been next to you, or walked by your booth at other shows, and you're definitely always busy. And and I do have to give you props also when I see you and I see how you interact with the fans and stuff like that. And for anyone who might catch Sam at a show, that's how you're supposed to do it. He's always cheerful with the fans. He's always making them a priority. And so, I mean, so congrats on you for doing something different, and having the fans really latch onto it.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's the biggest thing. For me, it's about the relationships. That's why I love conventions. It's we all spend time grinding in the back end, and then when you go out there, and I feel like I want to introduce. It's almost like your kid, right, to the world, right? It's like, and so just connecting with people and getting their feedback and seeing their reaction. That's the best part of it.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Laurie? What kind of questions you got for Mr. Sam? Because you've known him longer than I have, right?
Have I?
Well,
How did we meet? I think
you kicked me in an alley.
that was old news. I did that, but it was like we were already friends before I kicked you in the teeth. No, I met you on Catch the Craze. That's how I met you guys, and then found out that you were in Texas.
Yes.
And we were at, I don't know, Acon somewhere, and then you just couldn't get rid of me. I was a Klingon.
I think it was that Central Texas Comic Con. Or Arlington.
Arlington for sure.
Arlington
Marco
Fest.
was there.
Yes, Arlington, that's what it was. Maybe.
We did that a couple times, but
yeah.
I always want to know from Sam, because he goes to a lot of Comic Cons, how do you pick and choose which ones to go to? Because I know that you do some and then you don't go back, or there's some that you hit every year. And I'm always want to just stick myself in your suitcase. Maybe you won't notice me with all the stickers and I'll just come along with you.
With all the stickers.
Yeah.
Some of them it's rolling the dice because I've never been
Yeah.
to, right? So I always want to try something once, right? And then see if it's for me, if it's the crowd, if I'm feeling the crowd. And then I tend to then I have some favorites, right? That I just love to go to all the time. But I think the first couple of years, because I was new to Texas, it was a trial and error, right? I
Yeah.
was like, I didn't know anything about it. Even when you look at you research it, I try to find the YouTube videos for people that do walkthroughs and all that stuff, just to get like an inside view from it. And then I go and then I give it a shot. And some of them worked and some of them didn't.
Mm.
You know, I try to stay away from heavy focus on celebrities events because I know that we're not going to get the kind of love or support from the promoters because we're just paying the bills so they can pay for the celebrities.
Yep.
So I stay away from those. I like to go to more comic centric events where you have really you have real fans that are looking to buy something new, try something new, that are looking for indie stuff.
Right.
And that's what I tend to gravitate to.
That's not a bad
Mhm.
way to be. I mean, it's
Yeah.
definitely a right way to do it for sure. I mean, there's no real wrong way, but that's damn sure a good way. Because again, Chris has done them. We've done some of the shows where they're super actor heavy and stuff,
Yeah.
and a lot of times Artist Alley and stuff like that will almost feel like a ghost town to a degree. Go ahead, Chris.
Well,
Didn't mean to.
I don't have any money left.
Yeah. Careful, a promoter here, and we do go through the applications and pick out who we want. So,
But you don't count. You're the good guys. You're doing it the right way. We are talking about that one.
Okay.
Text home was ridiculous.
I have one question. 12 parts.
Perfect.
No, I'm
Then we
joking.
can
12
sign up for
parts.
the rest of the night.
All right. Let me see how I was going to ask.
Hi, Ryan.
This. Do what?
I said hello to Ryan.
Oh, okay. So I actually met you. We were at Arlington Comic Fest. Oh my
Yes.
God! About 4 years ago? It was their first ever show.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was, and that's when I first met you. You were set up in a little room, and Kim and I were walking around, and she's like, "Oh, check this guy's artwork out." And yours was issue 1 you had just launched. And the table you had filled with some stickers and little pamphlets and all, and it was all bright green all over the place. It was this cool setup. And I came up and introduced myself to you because we wanted you to come out to Cowtown. I believe that was it.
Yes.
At that point. And I forgot you had somebody with you.
My wife.
Nah, it was another guy.
It was another guy?
Yeah.
Was it George?
Wasn't George. No, it wasn't George. Maybe it was just somebody from a booth that just walked over and was talking to you or something. But we were talking about your story. I actually got one of your books and brought it home and laughed my butt off. So that was awesome. But
thank you.
what was I going to say? Okay, so on your book, are any of the characters based on people that you know?
Are you talking about there's an alien in my toilet?
Yeah.
Well, Herman the Chihuahua is,
based off of William.
I come from a Hispanic family, so he has a strong accent, and that accent lives in my family, and so it was based off of a relative that spoke that way. So I use so it's funny because when I would because George lettered my books, and so he'd have to verbatim put it the way I wrote it. And so when
he's like, oh
yes, so Herman has a strong accent, and so yeah, that's there. The friends, Brittany, they are kids that I remember growing up with when I was in kindergarten. So I try to add elements and things that we thought of when we were kids and the things that we got ourselves into, and they love to go at Patrick and Brittany. And I changed the names, but there are people that I grew up with as kids from that aspect.
Okay. And then I got one more. And this is for the room right here.
Part 12.
Yes. We're just skipping all the other ones. They're going to part 12.
Okay.
Being you're an indie creator and you know how it is, you go to cons, you put yourself out there. What do you think's the hardest part about creator? And we've all talked about this stuff constantly on any time we're on a show, but in your opinion, what's the hardest part about being a creator? That's an indie creator.
Time. I think time. It's precious, and there's just not enough of it. I think as Disney create, we want to do so much, but there's only so much we can do, right? And so I think that's the hardest part because time management, being able to balance. Because when you're an indie, you also have to promote your own stuff. You have to go on podcasts. You got to create graphics to post on social media. You got to create shorts and videos and thumbnails and all this stuff, and that takes away from the creative process and the work, right? And but you need to do it. So I think it's managing everything and still being able to stay on time with your projects, right? Because you got to do all that side stuff. So if you don't manage it accordingly, you can get lost and delayed and not hit your benchmarks. So time is the hardest part.
For me personally, I agree with the time. It definitely doesn't seem like we ever have enough. Especially if you're traveling the con circuit, then promote, like you said, promoting your own stuff. I think for me though, the hardest, I think it's the getting seen.
Yeah.
Or maybe not necessarily purely getting seen, but getting people to pay attention.
Yeah.
That's in more of the mainstream comic thing. We've all talked about that, trying to figure out ways to get seen by more of the mainstream collectors and things like that. I think for me, I think that's the hardest, because the time I can, for the most part, figure out ways to make it work, but it leaves you exhausted, of course. But yeah, I think that's it for me, is trying to get a lot of the mainstream collectors and readers to pay attention to the indie, because we've had indie for a long time earning their black mark. You know what I mean? And then there's a good bit of people now, or at least over the last 5 or 6 years that I've seen, that are trying to generate a better image for indie creators and stuff than what was in the past. So yeah, I think that's it for me. What about you, Laurie?
Oh, I could say a lot of things. Anything from plucking my eyebrows to finding my lips, and
Finding my lips.
I need my lips sometimes. We can talk about that too, Jim. But I agree with both of you, with everything that you guys said. Like, so the time is the hard part, especially for me, trying to balance my kids' life and getting things done. And I make a lot of my own merch. So the advantage I have of you guys is that I have an art team. And so while they're making the comic, I'm making the merch. So it's all ready at the same time to get shipped out. So, I feel bad for you guys that wear all the hats, where it's like you got to do the art and you got to do the ordering and you got to get everything boxed up and fulfilled. So for me, that time to make all the things and balance it with my home life, I have felt frustrated at times just being a woman in this business, I got to say, because there's not many of us, and I've gotten talked down to and mansplained and pushed back and all of that.
There's nothing wrong with
And I
mansplaining.
just don't
You just
fucking
gotta
care.
to-
Just gonna keep going. So it's who I am. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I give you props on that, because we see it all the time in every aspect of everything, from the comic stuff to the TikTok stuff to everything else. You come out and you put yourself out there as a creator, as a writer, and these other hats that you wear, and you don't take the easy route that you could take. Sorry, ladies in the audience, go look at TikTok for 10 seconds and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so
I
don't
give
credit for that.
bikinis.
There are people in the comic community that do milk that aspect. So kudos to you for doing it for that way. What about you, Chris? What do you feel is the hardest thing you deal with?
I think everything else said. I mean, there's really no other. I mean, it's
dancing
time.
in bikinis.
I mean, everything is time. You go with time. You go with how do you get seen more?
Right.
But for me, it ropes back around to time. I mean, you look at, I can't say it because I did it to myself on my end, right? I mean, I'm like, okay, so I create these books, right? I have Laurie's my letterer, have Lacey that helps out, and whoever else. I have all you guys that are great artists that help out. But I have to go out and hire my artist. and that's fine. And then you wait on them and you hope that they get pages done on time. But at the same time, I'm working at that. I have a full-time job, like you guys. I mean,
Right.
I was decided, hey, that's not enough. Let's become part owner of a comic book store. And I'm there all the time with the full-time job. And then I have to travel some for work. Oh, well, hell, that's not enough. It'd be fun. Let's start some of our own comic cons and do that too. So then you have that. And then you have to come up with, it's a new grandbaby now. And then you have to turn around and do family life. But you're never home to do that kind of stuff because we're at the store or planning the cons. And then I want to do more comic cons, man. But it's just like this weekend at Big Texas. Hey, got in, can do Big Texas. Can't do it because I got to do a work event. So I can't do that con. I was going to be able to get my books out there more. So it goes back to me. It all circles back around just what Sam said. It's time. Right. But then it goes back to, well, how do you get seen? Well, again, on my end is, well, you get seen by finding the time to be at the cons. Really? I mean, I don't know how many times Laurie, he puts in the message, hey, y'all want to go live with me? And I'm like, I can't. I'm at the store. I'm driving, going to my parents.
I blame William for that because he never has like rhyme or reason. He's just like, hey, want to go live? It's Tuesday at 10. I'm like, I'm starting the brew. Like, this is my weekly show. He's like, oh, my bad. And then he's like, what about Wednesday? What about Thursday? What about Friday? And it's like 2 a.m., 7 p.m., 3 in the morning. And I'm just like, William, pick a day.
I'm all over the place. So,
But that's why we're here now. So,
that's why we're doing this. And as long as you fans show up, we will do this. You guys have been asking for us to do this for the last 2 years at least.
Maybe one person asked. I mean,
I got a full PM list. When are you going to do Creators Corner? Well, we're here. So that's a great question. Let's do Jim's question. We'll start with you, Sam, since you're the guest. Give us what you can remember as one of your best experiences at a con, and let's give them a worse experience, because again, this is all about pulling the curtain back a bit. So,
my best experience. My best experience ever in the past was at San Diego Comic-Con. My last appearance there, because I was on NBC Morning News. I was on the radio that week. I had lines. I sold out of my inventory. I was just doing commissions. That was my best experience. My worst one, I think, is when I went to, I think it's Central Texas in Waco. I drove through a tornado. It took forever to get there. There were flipped over trailers on the highway. I was driving like 2 miles an hour trying to get there, trying to get run over, and something's flying into me. We get there. The storm was that whole time. It was dead. It was like no man's land. It was just a bad. It wasn't the promoter's fault. It was the weather. So no one was showing up, and it was just stormy. So that was my worst.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds like excuses, but okay. What about you, Miss Laurie? What would you say has been one of your best experiences and one of your worst?
I'm probably the new kid on the block out of the four of us. And so for me, when I'm at a con and someone comes up to me and says, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I need the next book in your series. I need to know what happens next. That always surprises me, and it makes me feel great when someone finds me, remembers me, gets books and hot sauce because they're like, I can't wait to see what happens next, and I got to stock up on this barbecue because I'm not going to see you again for a year, Right. So it just kind of validates all the work I put into it, and those are the best too, because it's like I don't have to pitch the story. People are already in, they're already hooked, and they just like, what's the next issue? And I'm like, 6 and 7. They're like, just give it to me. I don't care. I'm like, all right. And then worst, I don't know. Do you think it was the, I'm not going to say which con, but there was one where we were just packed in like sardines.
Yeah.
And literally you couldn't back your chair up. We were in a row, and I was right next to Dees Casillas, and that's the first time that we met. And like, we were the only two comic book people in basically the whole convention. and we were going up against like candles and crocheted things and t-shirts.
Right.
And then just being packed on top of each other. Like you couldn't have a banner, you couldn't have, and it was like, it was a 6-foot table, but it really felt like it was 4. I don't know. It was so tight and claustrophobic, and we were all hot. And I just remember it being pretty miserable in there. And then as I was packing up, I was so happy to go home. This gentleman, how should I say, he rolled up because he had a motorized wheelchair. And then as I'm packing, he asked if he could buy a trade paperback and wanted me to write something dirty to him in it. And I was like, what? I was like, are you kidding? He's like, whatever you're comfortable writing. And I was like, I ain't comfortable writing nothing. Like, I wasn't pitching the book. I wasn't trying to sell nothing. I was just trying to pack up and go. Right. So I was just like, I don't even remember what I wrote to him, but I was just like, this is the weirdest thing.
Something like that.
I know, like
how many hundreds do you have in your wallet? That'll determine.
I know, like it was just so odd to have someone ask me to write something dirty to them in one of my books, and I was just like, goodbye.
What about you, Mr. Chris? What would you say has been yours?
My best would have been MegaCon last year.
Yeah.
I'd sold so many books. With new area in Florida that nobody has seen my stuff. I was sharing a table with William, but I think we had our own, both of us had our own 8-foot table.
We had
20-foot end cap on the main row right there, and it was insane. So that was my best. That was the most I've ever done. I sold out of, honestly, almost everything I took, and I took a lot of books. So, and you guys are really nice, all talking about your worst show. We all know it's Red River. Y'all don't have to.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
No,
well, shows, they're always fun. And I'll tell you what, we always, even if it is slow, because they're not, Red River was slow, but it's still, we made money and we collaborate. Like I was sitting next to Ken, and now we have the freaking Blink cover on my campaign because we had time to talk about it. So your shows are never bad. Never.
No, that was our worst show. But I'm joking. But that's okay.
We were laughing about the what was your sticker lady that threw a fit in the middle? Oh my
God, yeah. All right. So my worst show, it was what, 4 years ago? William might have been there. First time I met Marty Ross, and we were at a card show in Dallas. We got invited in as comic creators. Card show, right? In the Allen Center was amazing. I mean, it seemed like there were 30,000 people at that card show, right? But, they're there for cards. They're not there for comics and comic creators. And 3-day show, we were there. And I don't know how many, every time there's somebody that's walking by your booth, just constantly. And we're talking and we're talking. I did $7 on the 3-day, the 3-day show. $7 was all I did.
What?
Yeah, I sold one book, and the guy gave me a $2 tip on the book because he didn't give me $2. That was the $7. But it wasn't the show, right? Because that show I've been to quite a few times, even going out and looking at cards, sports cards they bring it. I'm telling you, it's like 30,000 people every time at that show. So the show was absolutely amazing. It was where we were, and now they've grown. So now people are knowing that there are creators at that show. There's not many, but they do good. But you're talking like the first time they bring in a few of us, and it was just in our little area. It was just, even though thousands of people walked by us, nobody stopped. They weren't there for us. They were there for the cars. So that was literally my worst show that I've done. I mean, I've done other shows to where there's Saturday afternoon and 10 people are walking on the floor, and you're like, really? But I've made more money than what I did at the show with 30,000 people. It just, you just never know.
It definitely can be weird. It varies from year to year. Like one show could be insane this year. Next year you go and it's just completely weird. And so you do kind of have to plan for that. Brad had a great question here for you guys. I've been out of comics for a while, and I'm new to you all. Getting back in, if I were to read one comic from each of you, which book issue of yours are you most proud of, and which book from your peers would you recommend to a new reader? I mean,
you ought to let Laurie take this one. This one's going to be hard for her.
I only got one book.
but
although I write for William, so
Yep.
I mean,
so
well,
technically,
that's what I
we
would
got
recommend you read from William is the stuff that that Chris and I wrote.
but if me, let's start with Chris's stable, because Chris actually has like what 30 plus books
Yeah.
titled.
32.
Yeah. Uh, Hands down, in my opinion, Don't Pay the Ferryman.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite ones he's done. That one I would pick overall for sure. Laurie obviously is Path of the Pale Rider. And then of course, I haven't read Sam's new book that he's got in Kickstarter, I believe, right now. But Duty's a great one. Like it's
Duty's
hilarious. It's a good
Yeah.
one. I've got 3 IPs now with Curse Moonlight and Rise of the Mummy and Psycho Sal. Hands down, Psycho Sal. Period. Laurie and Chris, helped write those books and bring that to life with my notes and stuff, and the twists and the flavor that they added to it. There's no doubt in my mind, Psycho Sal's the best damn horror comic on the market, and I'll put that up against any damn mainstream or otherwise. So that's what I would suggest. Grab Path of the Pale Rider, grab Duty, grab Don't Pay the Ferryman out of Chris's stable, grab Psycho Sal, and I guarantee you those books you won't put down. That's just fact. I mean, I've done money back guarantees on Psycho Sal, and I've never had to give a nickel back. What about you, Laurie? What would you
Can I
suggest?
just second what you just said? I mean, that's my answer too. And I just want to reiterate, like Psycho Sal is 80s New Orleans serial killer horror twists, and it's just unrelenting dread. Path of the Pale Rider is a neo-Western apocalypse where death is broken with conspiracy theories and undead bears and kick-ass action. Ferryman is there's a lot of different versions of Ferryman, so you can pick and choose your flavor. My favorite actually is the Valhalla one.
Yeah.
I think what are you doing? Like, thank you for putting that up for Path. However, we're moving on to Valhalla. So
That's one of my favorites too.
yeah, that one I really enjoyed, Chris. And I've seen some of the newer stuff that Chris is working on because I get that privilege because I letter it. So
Right.
it's all on par. So it just depends on, do you want Vikings? Do you want, country music stars? Do you want, insane theories? Like they're all in there, and the ferryman just depends on what you want. He muted himself. How rude. And then Sam, I love Duty. And now Duty issue 1, and it's funny because I saw all these same things that happen in Duty issue 1 and Path of the Pale Rider number 1. We both have like wolves and bears, but Duty issue number 1, I was laughing out loud at the comedy. So it's all ages, and even if you're an adult, you will enjoy the shenanigans that goes on in this story. It's really funny. And then I love how Sam has he has a knack for taking any kind of character that's current. You know what I mean? Like I have so many covers from Sam. When my husband first met Sam at, I think it was Arlington, I forget, he bought like 12 covers from Sam, and I was just like, what are you doing? And he was just like, I liked them all. And I'm like, all right. But my personal favorite of Alien in My Toilet is the Matrix cover. That one's my favorite, by the way. So
thank you.
Obviously, my favorite cover by him is the Psycho Duty.
Well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask Sam when it gets back to me, so I'll get to that.
There you go. What about you, Sam? Like, what books from maybe like the libraries that you may have seen that you think people should check out? And you can also, you guys are welcome to name other people's indie books that you've personally read that are good, that fans should check out. It doesn't just have to be ours,
No, I mean, I have Psycho Sal, I have Path of the Pale Rider, I also have Don't Tell the Ferryman. I haven't read that one yet. I do have it, but I have all 3 campaigns. I would also say, if you've ever seen George's Rush 5377, that's my favorite of his titles. It'll always be my favorite. That's George Medina. If you don't know who he is, he has Get Your Meds. He's also my co-host, but I love that project that he has. And I also love Dan Price's Bigfoot Knows Karate. I think that's a really cool concept. For me, Thank you so much for all the kind words about duty. My Gorf has been with me since I was 12 years old. It's my first comic book character I ever created. And Cosmic Wars, it's an extension of me. He's been with me my whole life. And I would say check that out. It's on Kickstarter right now. Check it out. It's my best work yet. I get better as I draw every day. And I really, I'm having fun with this campaign. But yeah, that's what I would recommend.
Nice. And definitely make sure you put a link in the chat here for us to your Kickstarter. And guys, please make sure you guys go over there and back his Kickstarter. I backed that one. It definitely looks cool. So make sure you guys check that out. And so Logan had a question following up what Chris was talking about earlier with time. I mean, that is a tough one. What would you say on that one too, Laurie? And we'll go around the table. Is it just a case of you just have to force the time?
Yes, you have to make time. It needs to be like Wednesdays for me are usually the days I get writing done and I can get extra crafts done. But you have to okay, I have to write today. You know what I mean? You have to prioritize the time for that because it's so easy to fill it with other things. It's so easy. Oh, I needed to go do this on the outside of the house and pull weeds and call such and such and set up appointments. And it's so easy to fill time. And so you kind of have to prioritize, turn off the distractions. You have to turn off the notifications because people will message you all day. And you gotta turn them off. And you gotta sit and just write.
Fortnite.
He has his Fortnite day, but I'm sure he has his writing day too. And I mean, you are awake in the mornings. Sam is awake in the mornings. I'm awake at night. And so a lot of times when my family, is winding down, my kids are in bed, I will come into my office and I'll just put in some headphones and put on whatever music is moving me. And I'll just dive into the story.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that because I definitely think it's one of those things you have to force the time. But like you said, I mean, if you're going to run your own business, especially in this industry, and you've got so many hats you have to wear, where you don't get to go to bed when everybody else is going to bed. You're up for another 2 hours, 3 hours working, or you're waking up 2 or 3 hours before everyone else does. Same thing with you, Chris. You think it's the same concept as you mentioned earlier? You just got to kind of force at the time. You got to put aside all the other junk.
You do. Now, with that, like with me, I'll stay up kind of late, and then sometimes I'll sit in the living room, and if I have an idea that pops in my head, I've got my notepad on my phone, and I'm typing those ideas on my phone, making notes and world building and all of that with whatever's going on. And it's crazy how an idea will pop in your head for a story. But then sometimes if I get that idea, I will literally walk in here into the office and literally start writing. And then, but nighttime is usually the time, like I can't do it there's too much going on during the day.
Yeah.
But at night, and it could be late, that's when I come in here and it's quiet and I'll just start writing and just start typing away and getting it done. And then sometimes during the day, I can edit. I mean, I'm not good. I've had Laurie do some editing, but, I can literally sit there and while I'm working, I can be here in the office working, but at the same time, I have my other computer up, have the script up, reading back through it, changing things that I didn't like or which way I want to go and trying to finalize it then before I send it over. But I mean, we're all different in how we do things. So.
Right. And what about you, Sam? The same scenario? You just have to find that quiet time?
It's usually, I get up at, my dogs wake me up because we're on a clock. And so 4:30 in the morning, they're right on my face and like, all right, it's time. So I get up, I bring them outside, they do their thing. I give them their snacks. I make my pre-workout drink. I sit on my draft table. I start drawing until it all kicks in. I start feeling the jitters and then I work out. Then I'll come back and I'll start creating some stuff to post. And so you'll see my posts like around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I start posting at that time. And then I go take a shower, go to work. Then when I come home, I go straight into the office and I try to get a couple of drawings done. Sometimes I'll just do an impromptu live stream. And then once that's done, then I'll go and I'll sit down and I'll chill with my wife. But I'm just work, table. Anytime I can get to draw, I'm drawing.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's the same for me. It's just forcing it. Like, and you gotta check yourself too. You have to you can't let the excuses, oh, I don't feel like it, I don't feel good, oh, my back hurts, my booty sore, whatever excuse, whatever y'all come up with, that's the most important. You got to do away with that, because there's no such thing as writer's block, there's no such thing as artist block. It's all BS excuses we try to give ourselves not to do what we need to be doing. So yeah, I agree with you. You just got to force the time. Someone else had another good question for you guys that I thought was a pretty good one. Let me find it here real quick. Sorry, bear with me. Where did you go? I had that thing just marked a few seconds ago. Bear with me. Hang on. Oh, this one. Is it true that bad conventions are good networking events?
I think any convention's a good networking event.
Yeah. But I think if the convention is slow, that's what you should be doing. Not sitting there playing on your phone. Go make new connections, go get business cards, go look at artists. And for me, I'm always looking for new art. Like, I do variant covers. I'm always doing new merch. Like, I want to see, if someone's tapped into the same brainwaves that I am about art. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking for something specific for Path all the time. And so if the con is slow, then for sure I'm walking around talking to people. If it's a good show and it's busy, I'm selling. And then I still want to talk to people around me, and maybe people will come by and they'll come see me because I sell hot sauce, but I still want to talk to people.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree with Chris. I think every single con you're doing, whether small, medium, large, whether it's busy or slow. Now, obviously, if it's busy, you may not get to do as much you want. But here's the other thing. If the doors open at 10 o'clock, in my personal opinion, you ought to have your ass at the show at like 8:30, 9 o'clock when the doors open, and you're walking around trying to, meet and greet some of the other creators and stuff like that. Or if it slows down, try to do it. But I agree. I think any con's a good con for trying to do that. And I think you should be doing it. Whether it turns into something or not is kind of irrelevant, because you just really don't know. I mean, do you agree with that same mindset, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I usually go in early. I'm always there like an hour and a half, 2 hours early. And I usually go around vlogging, and then I meet other creators and I invite people on to catch the craze. That's how I network. And I was like, hey, you want to come on the show? And then you meet a lot of talented, great people throughout that process. I just did a cover that's going to be coming out later this year because of networking at a convention, commission cover. So I think it's important. To your point, when it's busy, I'm stuck at the table, but that's why I go in early. I try to go in early. I pull up my camera. You'll see me walking around with that camera, and just talk to whoever.
Camera. How many times I'm like upside down doing stuff, and Sam's like, "Hey," and I'm just like, "Motherfucker, get away from me! I'm not even dressed yet."
Where's my lips?
I need to put my lips on. Let me put my lips on before you take a selfie with me. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm not even awake yet.
So let's see. Here's a good one. Going to a con as a vendor for the first time. Any suggestions? Wife and I are thinking of going in character, but not sure. I want to draw people in, but not look cringe or nuts.
Okay, can I tackle this?
Yes, go.
I did this. I went in character to Cowtown 2 years ago, and I did not break character. I warned the people at the tables next to me who did not know me, because I was like, I'm going to be batshit crazy this weekend. Please, my name, is Laurie, and I'm nice to meet you, but I'm going to be crazy, and it's just an act. So I let them know beforehand, and it actually frees you. I was not afraid to talk to people, and I was talking to everybody because I was this character and not myself. And I made more money at that cow town than I haven't than years in the past, just because it's numbers and it's talking to people and it's engagement. And I was being silly and having fun with it, and they feed off of your energy. 100% going character. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. And me personally,
George,
leave this shit in your pocket. Leave that right there in your damn pocket. Because you don't need to be sitting behind your table playing on your phone. You don't, in my personal opinion, you probably shouldn't even be sitting behind your table. I try to stay standing the entire time I'm at a show. It's okay to sit every once in a while, but try to be attentive to the people walking by, because a lot of people at a con are kind of moving at a fast pace, and they don't really know what they want sometimes until they see it. And if you can get them to pause long enough, engage with them. Hey guys, how you doing? Are you having a good time? Get them to slow down for a moment. They'll kind of look at your booth and they're more likely to shop. But be engaging. I've told a lot of artists, I've listened to them complain about how they're broke and they didn't make no money out of the show. And I'm talking about even pros like that's been in the business 15, 20 years. I've sat next to them, listened to them complain about not making no money that day. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you, boo-boo. My table was packed.
Yeah.
And but the issue is every time you look over there, they're either not at their table or they're on their phones behind their table. And everybody here can vouch for this. We've been ingrained since children. When someone's on a phone, you don't interrupt them. So keep that in mind, because like I've said before, we're hookers. All right. We're wearing our little red dress. We're working our street corner.
Three of you are hookers. Okay.
Right. I'm job is to talk to every John that walks by. So put on your pretty dress and your smile and work your corner. But be engaging to the fans, because I promise you, when you're that way with them and you're being genuine and you actually are hoping they're having a good time and you're carrying a conversation with them, they will latch on to that, because a lot of artists they're a bit dismissive. And if they're not selling you something, they're not talking to you. So be engaging, in my opinion. I mean, what would you say about that, Sam?
Oh, 100%. Why even spend the money to go there if you're just not going to be there, right? And I've seen it. I mean, George and I talk about it all the time. You'll see a big, beautiful display booth with not even looking up, with the head down the whole time, or walking away multiple times, never at the table. And I'm like, how's that even possible? Why are you wasting the money if you're not here to promote your work? It doesn't make sense. So if you're going to do it and you're going to spend that money, you need to make that money back. You need to hustle. And sometimes your hustle is not going to work, but as long as you're trying to talk to as many people as possible, that's what you're there for. The work should have been done at home. When you're at the show, now you're a showman, you're a salesman, you're out there, you have to go out there, you have to pitch it, you're your PR person. You have to go out there and sell it to the people.
Yep. What about you, Chris?
I can't stop any of that, because what they said is identical. I mean, it's exactly what you have to do when you're at a show. I mean, I've sat down at a show, I'll look at my phone, but not when I've got 15 people walking by.
Right.
Because like you said, we've seen it firsthand, William. One gentleman at a show sat in the back of his booth at one of our shows, I'll say, years ago, sat in the back of his booth, not going to call anybody out or anything.
Right.
And at the end of the show, he walked up and asked for a refund on his booth because he didn't make any money. Yes, you do. The show was slam packed, right? We were in Hearst, right? And we had 2,000 people come through the door, which is ridiculous. He didn't make any money. Well, he had a 10 by 10 booth, and he sat in the far back corner of his booth, looking down all weekend. Our admissions table, we could watch him. He never got up. William actually walked into this booth.
Pushing buttons.
No, he just walked in and started looking at it. Was a horror booth, and it was a horror show we did. And William was looking at the stuff and said, "Hey man, do you have any Universal Monster stuff?" And the guy could care less. And William pulls up Universal Monsters on his tattoo. He goes, I'm a big fan, man, big fan.
Gave him
He's trying
all
to
the
engage in the
opportunity.
guy to say, you'll make a sell. He could care less. He just sat there on his phone. And William came back and told us, walked over. He said, man, no wonder that guy ain't making, he ain't doing nothing.
Nope.
And it's that simple. You spent whatever you spent on your booth, and you don't want to engage with people that were walking in your booth and trying to, purchase your product, then you're going to suffer the consequences. It's not the show at that point.
Nope.
Yeah.
And like Sam
No,
said,
you can't.
you're the salesman of your own product. So you have to engage and sell your product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If a con if you do a con, you're there on a Saturday. Let's just talk Saturday, the most busiest day of pretty much any con. If you're there and you see 20 people that day, that's a con problem. They didn't promote, they didn't do what they were supposed to, and people just didn't show up. But if you're at a con and there's, even if it's a smaller con and you have 2,000 people come through the day and you go home broke, that's a you problem. Flat out, you problem. So yeah, I gave that guy all the opportunity in the world to sell to me, and he still wouldn't sell to me. Like he just played on his phone. I mean, I'm sitting there, he had these boxes with Boris Karloff, Frankenstein on it. And I was like, oh, you got Boris Karloff, man. Oh, I'm a big fan of Frankenstein. Man, that's really cool. Didn't even bother to tell me how much they were. Like he did zero engaging. And I told Chris, don't give that man no money. That's his fault. So Jim had a question for you guys. What does it take to, what does it take to convert a story into a damn comic book? It sucks. Man, they can have all that damn writing. I'll stick to trying to do one book. Well, let's put it this way. It took me 6 months to write the story the way I wanted it. And then it took me another 4 months to convert that damn story into a damn script for one book. So yeah, you guys can have all that damn writing. But so I'll let you writers answer that question. Go ahead, Laurie, give him your opinion on that.
Oh Lord. Okay, so I'm a plotter, not a pantser, if you know what that means. I don't write by the seat of my pants. So I'm plotting out each issue, beginning, middle, and end. I'm looking for character growth. I'm taking, so I'm taking a script. My script was originally written as a screenplay, and I'm breaking it up into pages. So I know like at the halfway point is where I have to have the most exciting part of my book, right? And then I know I have to have enough pages at the beginning and end to get the whole story in there. I also pay attention to where the pages turn. This is great for pacing. You never want to have too many panels on the page.
Right.
There's a lot. There's a lot, right? Because you have to be able to fit a lot of things on the page. Words, action, and again, it's a static medium, so you have to plan out show and tell. I've read comics and where people they don't understand the medium, where they do a beautiful page of art, and then the writer or letterer covers the entire page in words, and I'm like, what is the point of this? Write a novel, right? So understanding the medium, understanding what's an appropriate number of panels and what they're used for. So if you're going to speed up the action, you could add more panels. If you're trying to, do some detail, maybe there's more panels, but they're small. Right. How to utilize a splash page, a double splash page. And then ultimately the pacing of the story is so important because that's what's going to take people from one page to the next, to the next, to the next. And then ultimately we'll get them to come back because the script is 50% of it, right? The art will get them in. That beautiful cover, that issue 7 cover that William put up there, that gets them in to issue number 7, Path of the Pale Rider. But the story is what keeps people from coming back, to come back to the next one. And so there's a lot of stuff. I probably gave that to you pretty disjointed because I'm tired, but there is an actual process to doing this so that it makes sense. And that's some of the things that I pay attention to. I will shut up now. Thank you. Thank you.
What about you, Chris? What's your opinion on that thought process?
See, I mean, we're all different because me, I can write. Yeah, I can do that. I mean, that's just me. So it's literally, you get an idea in my head. So the new Ferryman one that I have not released the title to yet. A couple of y'all know, you two know, but I'm sitting in the living room the other day, and sitting there watching TV. Kim says something, and she was talking about sleeping or something. I can't give it all away, and I'm sitting there just like that.
Yeah.
Story pops in my head. When I did the detour, right? I'm driving down this dirt road, and I'm out in the middle of nowhere, taking a shortcut, driving down this dirt road, and then all of a sudden there's this big sign, brand new sign, painted fresh, says detour, freshly picked fruit.
Don't
Sign
do it.
to the left. And I'm driving down this road, no other cars on the road, and I just drove past it, looked to the left, saw this other road that looked creepy as crap. And it was just never ending road. And I was like, in my mind immediately, I'm driving and I'm like, oh, hell, somebody's going to die down there. And that's exactly what went through my mind. I'm like, oh, hell, somebody's going to die down there. And I drove, and within 3 minutes, I pulled over. I had the whole detour story in my head.
Wow.
And literally was playing it the whole way home. Got home, came in, unpacked, right to the computer, wrote the first issue of the detour. I mean, and when I write, I'm playing it like it's a movie, because that's what I'm envisioning when I'm looking at the words, but I'm playing it out as a movie going on with all the images and everything at the same time. But that's how I do it. I mean, and then turning it into a script. I mean, you just write it, but you got to learn to panel. And then that's where people like Laurie and all them come into account, because you have to have a letter to put it on there. People like Sam, you got to have an interior artist that can draw that for you. Laurie said, write a novel. Funny, I did the doll maker and try to change it up because I didn't want that many pictures. I wanted the words to tell the story in the doll maker. And I just had a few photos only. Wonder whose cover that
was
is.
Great though. But again, it's understanding your medium. You know what I mean? Because one, the words carry, and that's what it was intended to be.
Yeah.
Instead of books that I've read, them just like, I don't even know why they put pictures in here. I can't see them.
Yeah. Sometimes there could be a baby at the end of the book. You just never know. So they just show up.
I'm dead.
What about Sam? What about with you? Do you approach it in a certain way when you do your writing? Are you working out the story first and then the script, or are you going straight to script, or how are you doing yours?
I start with the characters. I identify their purpose, and I create their story, and then all the supporting characters and how they fit into that character. And then once I have the character plots, then I start working on the purpose and the journey. So what is this, the long game for the story? What's the short game, and where do I want to start? But I don't write a script until I have the world built, and all the elements within that. So this way, because it tells me exactly how long I'm going to go with this, and then from that point on, then I start writing the script. And then the luxury of being an artist, when I write the script, if I'm writing back in the days when I had Crazy Comics, when I wrote for someone else to illustrate, I'm extremely detailed on the camera angles and the scenery and what should be in the panels, and so much so that sometimes I would thumbnail it. But if I'm writing for myself, then I'm writing dialogue. I'm writing panel 1 dialogue, panel 2 dialogue, because I visually already see it in my head. So I have the luxury of just freestyling when I'm drawing. So there's two ways. If I'm writing for somebody else, then I'm really detailed. If I'm writing for myself, then I'm very loose. But I don't start writing any scripts until I have everything built.
Okay.
I agree with that too.
Yep.
Well, mine was when I felt so bad for Chris and Laurie. Like I felt so bad. But I knew in my head what I needed Psycho Sal to do and what it needed to be and what was going on and all that. And I had all these notes written out and I just I think the first time I handed Chris the notebook.
Did you really?
He did. He handed me a notebook with scratch paper inside of
it. And it was just all kinds of chaos all over the place. But like I've said before, and I'll say it forever, if it hadn't been for Chris and Laurie, there wouldn't be a Psycho Sal. I 100% believe that, because I think I'd have got irritated and frustrated and just washed my hands of it and went back to just drawing stuff. But then I tried to write with Cursed Moonlight. That's about two of my daughters versus a werewolf in Appalachian Mountains, and like the story took me a good while to write it, but the story came a lot easier than trying to figure out how to fit that story into a damn 24 or 26 page script and all the extra meat you have to shave off that story to put in that. So when you guys do your character story concept and you've got this idea in your head and you got this story and you start writing it out, do you guys find is it the same difficulty for you guys trying to figure out taking this story and trying to thin it down to fit in this book? How do you figure out as a creator and writer what you want to keep versus what you have to get rid of to make it fit? Because I know even for me from the outside, it's still difficult because you look at Psycho Sal, I don't think any of those books have the same page count in them as the other issues. Like they're all, as much as 36 pages in one book. So they're all over the place. So what about you guys? When you do that, how do you figure out what to keep and what to shave to fit that? Because I'm sure your story in your head or you writing it down is much bigger than what it is in that comic book. So any of you jump in on that, whichever one.
Sam.
That's a good question.
For me, I went through this just recently with Cosmic Wars because in 2003, when I first introduced Cosmic Wars, it was a issue 0, and it was 16 pages. It was like a preview into the world. This one's 30 pages, maybe a little more. I don't know yet. And it's because I didn't want it to be. So I took issue 1 and issue 0, and I said, all right, how do I tell the story combining those two issues? But then what do I need to omit and what do I need to add? Because when I look back at it, I was like, you know what? I missed this back then. I missed this back then because I'm redoing the whole thing. And so that's where I got to play. That's why, recently on Cast of Craze, I was talking about, I'm not sure if I'm going to end at 30 or more because sometimes I feel like in the original script, it called for a certain amount of panels, but I was like, I can tell that better with just 2, and that means it stretches the pages, or I can tell that with a double page spread, or I can tell that, so it's those things. But then I finally got to a point where I know where we're going to land. But I had to figure that part out. And so I was like, this could be told in the follow-up issue. Right. But this is the most important part of the story right now. And so I think it's just, you got to trust your gut. And then as long as you're able to tell the story in a way that resonates with the reader, I think that's the most important part of it. But it starts with, being true to the original concept. So it's hard to explain. But I try to make it work so that way it doesn't don't leave anything out, but it actually fills up your belly. So that way, you're like, I'm going to go back to that restaurant, the next time over, right? So go back for that next book.
To the Roadhouse.
There you go. The Roadhouse. Yeah, it was a great place. That was a great place.
Yeah, what?
Human butter.
Just don't eat cheese.
Yeah. What about you, Laurie? What about you, Laurie?
Like, we're just still watching.
How do you figure out? Because you're 8 issue in on Path of Pale Right.
Yes.
And that book's got to go for a good bit more on the issues. You're somewhere around like coming like near 30 is what you got planned, give or take. Yep. What about you? How do you figure out what to put in and what to shave away from your original, like the overall story?
Well,
throw darts at a dartboard?
No, it's much more chaotic than that. There's a lot of like knife fighting, swearing, I don't know, interpretive dance. Pick one. No, I usually I go through the script and I look for things that are repetitive, and sometimes I'll do a rewrite to combine the two things, or somehow make it so that it's moving the story forward instead of trying to repeat the same topics again and again. Like I really want no fluff. Fluff. If it's fluffy or it resembles fluff and it's like a dust bunny, it's cut. I'm done. I don't want it in. So And a lot of times when I'm going through like Path, most of them are the same amount of pages. Issue 4 was a little more because I actually combined 2 issues into one. But I'm usually like, I know where the first page is and I know what the last page is. And so I'll kind of go through and flip back and through my mind's, empty comic book to be like, okay, this is where this goes. And then making sure all the dialogue fits, and again, cut things that don't fit. That's why I letter my own books,
Right.
is because I love to write dialogue for like a movie script. It doesn't all fit in the comic. We only got 5 panels. So a lot of times I'm rewriting and cutting and making it more condensed, and making sure the art is on point with the dialogue, so that way each panel is impactful and not just fluff.
Okay. And now, Chris, I want to kind of like add something to your before you ask you that same question, because you're a little different in your stories, because Psycho Sal's got 9 books. Path of Pale Rider is going to have close to 30. But a lot of your
36.
books you do is a 1-issue book, or it's a 2-issue or a 3-issue. So yours are way more compact than even ours. So with you doing those very tight stories, how the hell do you figure out? Because let's be honest, if you take Ferryman as 3 issues, that thing could be way bigger. And I get that you kind of did these fun things with Ferryman Presents and Valhalla and all this, and that kind of helps in that scenario. But you go back and you look at The Detour, and then you go back and you look at oh my goodness, the Manor one.
Churchill.
Thank you. You go back and look at those. So how the hell do you figure out? Because those stories could have been, way more issues, and you chose to keep them tight. So
Yeah. So my first book I put out was 2018, was the Forgotten Isle, issue 1, right? It's a 4-issue book. I had all the notes done. I had the story. I knew what I wanted to go do. But by the time I got to the 4th issue, I was cussing and just done. I mean, this is me. This is not Sam, not Laurie. They write series. I
right.
can't stand them. That's not. I'll read them. I don't
Right.
like.
You just don't like
It's
to
just
sit in
my
that.
mind doesn't. Yeah, you're right. I am different. My mind doesn't work that way. My head spins too fast with ideas and stories. I get bored,
Yeah.
And
honestly.
that's
So
that's still very cool. You know what I
to
mean?
get
Like
bored.
I just mean like people like myself, like when someone's like write a 1 shot and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I can do it. Like
Yeah, and
exactly
my
the
one shots
beginning,
come
middle, and
in,
end.
and it's just I get bored.
Yeah.
So I did the Forgotten Isle, and it was like almost like kicking. It beat me down. Love the story. I've gone back and read it 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, man, that was boy, I couldn't write worth shit. When I read it, I'll go back, but I'm like, I need to rewrite that and redo it. So then I turned back around and I was like, okay, after that was Churchill Manor. That was Cole's creation, kind of like yours was Psycho Sal. That was his. He told me what he wanted. I wrote it. It was a 1-shot
Right.
done. All right, that's cool. Then I came up with the Forgotten Isle. 2 issues done, because I'm like, I can take a story. It could be 32 pages. I can finish it in a 1-shot. And for me, I love the 1-shots, just like indie books that come out. If it's a 1-shot, I'll grab it and read it, because I'm like, I'm done. I got to the end of the story. I don't have to wait. Every one of my books, there's a cliffhanger at the end, because maybe I keep a character alive. Maybe something happens, but all my books have a cliffhanger. A lot of my books have a Easter egg from another book. Doesn't have anything to do with it. There could be an emblem, there could be a symbol, something in there that people catch. So yeah, and then it was Brian at the store that gave me the idea one time about the ferryman. I don't pay the ferryman. I was on issue 2, then I wrote Ferryman Origins, and he's like, you know what you need to do is create a ferryman and call it, Ferryman Tales, and do all these 1-shots. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That's
He's
right
like,
up your
yeah, you
alley
just do what
too.
you want. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, how would the ferryman look in Viking? It's 2 completely different things, Greek mythology and Viking lore. They don't go together. And he's like, so I did Valhalla. I liked it. Then I did the Mortician 1-shot, liked it. And I started doing all these one shots and doing shows. When I tell people, it's a one shot, it's not a series, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
To me and what I do, people seem to like that more. There are people that come up and said, "Do you have any series?" Well, I got Forgotten How, I got Detour, and I'm bad about that. I'm on issue 2. I started Nut Brigade. I'm like, I'll just keep this one going, right? I got issue 3 done. It's about to start getting drawn. This new Ferryman one, I pulled the last 2 bits of hair out of myself just because I did it on the new one that's coming out. It's going to be 4 issues.
You
Right?
missed the spot.
Yeah, I know. The bang.
Uh-huh.
But it's going to be 4 issues.
Yeah.
This one had to be. And I literally did the world building on it. And I'm like, there was no way around it. It has to be 4 issues. But every issue is interesting, is a little different. And I also get nervous that I've read some books from Marvel and DC. And when you get into issue 3, issue 4 of a book, it just lags. It's so dull. The reader loses interest, and then they just lose it with the series. And I don't want that to happen.
Right. What Sam, with you and your, like we were talking about the uniqueness of your universe that you got going. When it comes to Duty himself, is that something that has an end to it, or is it something that's just kind of, he'll be floating around for a while, because with Psycho Sal, we ended that storyline at issue number 9. Chris is ending some of his books at certain issues. Is that the way it is for you for like Duty, and then your new book that's in Kickstarter right now? Is it something that's running for a certain series window? And if so, what makes you decide whether to keep it going or to end it, or end it in that perspective of those books?
There's an Alien in My Toilet is a 10-part series.
Oh, it is.
So because the title was the punchline, and the punchline is the last issue, is the 10th issue. Duty is his own title, and then there's going to be his story from that point on. So this is telling the story of his first interaction with Earth and surviving Earth and trying to get off of Earth. And that's why I introduced Duty's Monsters as an introduction to, it's him back on his home world on the planet Uranus, and he's with his best friend Cheeks in class. And they found out that the citizens of Uranus are disappearing, and they've been abducted by a mythical creature named Cthulhu, and he's never heard of a Cthulhu. So they go off, because they're kids. They go off half baked after this creature, and they get into all sorts of trouble. So that when Duty ends, I will be doing part 2 of Duty's Monsters, because I introduced part 1. And it'll go from there. And then Cosmic Wars is an ongoing series. I mean, I can do up to 100 issues with that one. Yeah.
You could probably do that one forever.
Yeah.
And I think the crazy thing is we create these books and we create these characters, and we're doing it on our own dime. We launch the Kickstarters and things like that, and we hope people show up. We hope people enjoy what we're creating. What was Sam? We'll start with you. When you first put your first book out there and you saw the fans kind of go, "Okay, I'm digging this," and you're seeing that reaction from the fans, and you're seeing that love come from the fans, and that you think, "Okay, I've got something here." What do you think? Or how did that make you feel when you first saw that reaction, and you saw the fans showing up, buying the books at the shows, supporting the Kickstarters? What did you think about that experience on the first time?
But my first time, that it was good and bad, because it was good because we killed it for my first convention ever. We were young. It was George and I. We met at the School of Visual Arts, and I was like, "Yo, dude, I'm coming up with my own comic book brand, Crazy Comics, and you want to get down?" He had Rush 5377. I had Cosmic Wars at that time, and then we put all the money into printing the books in full color gloss. Right? It would go, and back in those days, everybody was doing grayscale and ash cans. Right. And then we got shirts, we branded ourselves and whatever. And then I negotiated with the Big Apple Comic Con to get a free table, because we didn't have any more money. And so I did an advertisement for them. And I said, "Look, I could do." And then so that's how we got the table. And our first outing, we were killing it. I mean, we were like the belle of the ball. Everyone was just scooping up our books, and we're like, wow, this is how it's gonna be, right? So it was like a false sense, right? So it's like it doesn't happen like that, right? So, and then you got Brian Polito coming over to us and spending a half hour, because he's like, yo, you guys are gonna be doing great things. Let me tell you some things to avoid and whatever, blah blah. So we're like, wow, this is amazing. So it was good and bad because our first shot out, we hit a home run that first shot out, but then the reality sets in after that. But Cosmic Wars always resonated with people. The problem with that was when I created Duty, all my projects stopped and I focused on Duty. So Cosmic Wars went back into the crate. Forbidden went into the crate, and I just focused on Duty because Duty had another level of reception because now I had the media interested in it. I got picked up by a management company, the same one that managed Robert Kirkman with Invincible. We were under the same brand, and so at that time, I was riding a wave, and then things didn't pan out, and then I just left comics. But no, I think the reception from the fans are the biggest thing. It's at the end of the day, I think Laurie said it earlier, when someone says, man, I love your book, or when you get fan art, it is the best thing. And I have tons of fan art and I get it all the time. That is the biggest form of flattery. For me, that's the stuff that makes it all the difference, because you're never going to cater to everybody.
Right.
But when you connect with a few people, it goes a long way, because it's validation for you as a creator. Someone loves something that you love so much. That's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Laurie? What did you think about it the first time when you saw the reaction from the fans and you went, oh, like I said, okay, now I know I've got something.
The reaction from my first book is usually, God damn it, Laurie.
I think
give me the next one. That's usually
Yeah.
the reaction I get when people start reading Path. And so I knew it was onto something when that God damn it, Laurie was also followed with, I need the next one. I need to know what happens next. So I knew I had the hook, right? And I don't know. It was weird at first because I'm like, oh, you like my book? Oh, that's great. I got more, and now I just warn people, like, you're gonna hate me after like book 1 and book 5 and book 7. Just be prepared to throw your books, but just go pick them back up and keep reading because the story gets better. So.
Yeah, and Laurie, apparently she likes that reaction because I think issue number 7 of my book was where the
no, it was issue 8.
Also. But same with you, Chris. And Chris, when you dropped the early books and you saw this kind of momentum picking up, and then it really kind of went stupid with Don't Pay the Ferryman. For those that may not know, Chris's Don't Pay the Ferryman's only been out like 4 or 5 years, and it's already over like 27,000 printed and sold. That's major in the indie community when it doesn't have influencers pushing it. It doesn't have comic shops pushing it. It's not in the FOC. And you've already done stupid numbers with that book. So, I mean, you saw the momentum, but what did you think about that, especially on that title when you saw it kind of blow up like it did?
Shocked. Wasn't expecting it. I mean, as you all know, being indie creators, we don't get rich doing this, so it's for fun and our passion. But yeah, it was literally, I came up, had the idea, did the first one, put it out, and the cover, on issue 1, it was Ryan Palmer did that cover. It was really cool, and it started selling the book. And then literally, I think within 3 months after it came out, I had number 2 out. 4 months, I had number 2 out to complete the story. And all of a sudden, I started getting calls from just retailers, some of the big ones going, hey, can we do an exclusive? We have an artist. Can we do an exclusive?
Right.
Hey, I read Ferryman. I'm going to New York Comic Con. I want to have Peach Momoko do a cover on it. What? Yeah. Let's be honest, that's what blew the book up. her cover, I mean, it blew it up, right? Being at New York, she's signing it. That book's there. That book just blew up, and it's still, I get messages. The crazy thing is, that's one of my oldest ones that I came out with, and I still at the shows practically sell out of issue 1 and 2 at all shows, and it blows my mind. If people walk by, I've never seen them. I mean, they're, oh, you're the guy that did the ferryman stuff. Oh, this is that book I'm hearing about. In my mind, I'm like, where are you hearing about it at? Because besides us, I mean, we share everybody's stuff, so it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very humbled on how that one did, and probably seeing how that one did. I keep trying to put out that, that next one that can
Right.
hit that same one. You're always chasing your success, the way I look at it.
And that's definitely true. And how, man, I won't lie, that's a nerve-wracking one, because I've been lucky that Cycle Sal's done as well as it's done. And for anybody watching this may not understand what we're talking about, the majority of indie books never see the light of day. Then an even smaller number that sees the light of day within issue number 1, most of those never see an issue number 2. So to be able to sit back and say that, the fact you created an indie book and it was successful enough that issue number 1 went to print and it did well, that's a huge feat. And then to be able to say you've had multiples after that with, issues, that's another huge feat. So, I mean, that's for me, I don't, I worry about that. Will I be able to do anything that's done as well as Cycle Sal has done? But you can't really dwell on it. How do you kind of fight that mindset of worrying about it or stressing about it? And Sam, we'll let you answer first. But when you have an IP that is being successful, you have multiple issues, the fans are showing up, how do you deal with that mindset? Well, am I going to be able to do any better? Or what the hell do I do next? How do I get the attention and follow up what I just did?
No, that question doesn't come in my head. My question is, how do I reach more people? Because I'm reaching a small segment of people, right? And I mean, you're talking about a fraction of a percent of the population. So I think that's what, I think it's the biggest thing that discourages indies, right? It's like you did a Kickstarter, you get 50 people. There's millions of people on this planet that haven't seen your product, right? But then, but we're gauging it on those 50, right? But so I think for me, it's like, how do I reach more? Yeah. How do I get more people to read it and get it into more hands? That's where I'm never worried about, can I be better than before? I worry because I know that I'm always going to give 100%. I know that I care for my characters. I care for the story. They've lived with me forever. They're like family for me. So because I know that the work is an extension of me, and I want people to like what I do. So I put a lot of care into it. I worry about my ability to get to more people. Right. That's what keeps me awake at night.
Okay. I agree with that, because the scary thing is we're not even really, I mean, really and truly, if you pull the curtain back and you look at it hardcore, we're not even talking about all the other people. No. I mean, you look at just your Facebook page or your Instagram or your TikTok, whatever. I mean, let's say you got 5,000 people on your Facebook page, 100 people show up to the Kickstarter. I mean, you're not even near 1%.
Yeah.
I mean, that, and so is that, so that does bring up a good question. Is it a scenario of, because we don't have access to big influencers, or we don't have access to the FOC to where we can get in front of comic shops, is it a case of, because we can only promote so much. So is it a case of, this is where that word of mouth promoting and help from fans and stuff like that, is that something that is possibly what gets us seen more? Is that word of mouth? Because I mean, I agree with you. Like, I do worry about, how do I follow this up? What does it, because we have to keep moving forward. This is a real easy industry, out of sight, out of mind. And if you're not dropping material back to back to back, I mean, you can get forgotten real quick. What about you, Laurie and Chris? Do y'all think that's the same scenarios, that maybe it isn't necessarily worrying about what's next, or if it is, how do you get seen on then what's next? Go ahead, Chris. Laurie's got I think she had tacos or something.
Repeat the question.
Wondering about, is it a case of worrying about what do I do next? Or is it really, like Sam said, it's more a case of worrying about how do we get seen more? And is it just really and truly that cut, dry, and simple? We need more people to be word of mouth sharing and promoting.
You ran everybody off, William. You lost Laurie, now you lost Sam.
I tell you, he probably had tacos too.
No, I was looking for something.
My dog was outside in the rain, and every time I open the door, 17 bugs come in. I'm getting mad.
We'll take the camera with you. We'll watch.
Those big, like, gross mosquito hawks, whatever those things are.
I don't want to hear it.
There's like 5 of them in my house now, thanks to my dog.
You got a sword, slice them up. I've seen you slice up the watermelon.
I'm tempted.
Come to Mississippi in the summer, and we'll show you the one that can fly away with small children.
No.
But yeah, so what do you think about that? Is it? I mean, I do believe that is probably the best thing is the word of mouth, and it's hard to get people to do the word of mouth for some weird reason.
It is because somebody, to be honest, I mean, maybe somebody doesn't like you, so they're not going to promote your stuff. Or
no, I'm talking about the fans who are
buying. I know, but this is what I'm talking about. The fans, you need. That's how, as an indie creator, word of mouth is important. And just like you said, you can go pay a TikTok influencer to promote your book, and then it's the next hottest thing for 6 weeks, which is what we're seeing in the indie market right now at comic stores with a couple of books. I mean, anyway. But yeah, the word of mouth, I mean, that's one of the most important things, because you sell your book and somebody reads it and they really like it, and they like you as a creator, and you're friendly with them when they bought your book. If they've got to engage with you, some people will buy it online, right? But they like it and they're into the series. Well, they're going to tell their friend that's also reading books about it, and then so on. And then you get that domino effect. That, to me, that's the best way we get ourselves out there. Just like at a show. You're at a show. Well, you guys are there working. I've seen you guys work in your booths. Well, Sam's working his booth. Somebody buys his book. Well, guess what? He goes walking down, turns left, goes up to his buddy who's at another booth, and he holds up the book. Man, look what I just bought. This guy's a really cool guy over here. You should go check out his stuff. Check out his booth. Well, next thing, his buddy goes over, starts talking to Sam, and he buys the book, right? And then they go home, they read the book. It's really cool. You don't know these guys. Maybe they do a live podcast. The book is brought up on the podcast. 3 or 4 more people are now looking for this book. So word of mouth is huge. Sam nailed it, right? You get 50 people to back your Kickstarter. Look how many people are in the world that have no clue what you're doing, or that millions of people read comics, have no idea what your Kickstarter is. No matter where you promote it, how you put it out there, whatever you do, they still don't know.
Right. And what about you, Laurie? Do you is that something that concerns you more, is the word of mouth stuff, or you trying to worry about, what you're going to do next, or how you're going to up one on, Path of the Pale Rider? Like, do you think about that at all, or worry about that, or you just kind of worry about the being seen and the promoting side and word of mouth?
I think it's promoting and word of mouth. Again, my series, I wrote the whole arc as one story back in 2018. So it's not something where I'm constantly trying to up the story. It's already written. And so it's just a matter of working through the books. And just the nature of how I wrote it, it kind of one-ups itself every issue anyway.
Gotcha.
So I'm not really concerned about that. It is the word of mouth. And I think that people forget that they can do that, because they're so happy with your book. And I love it when the fans come into my comments, and into my chat, and they're like, oh my God, you're issue 7 and this, that, and the other. But they don't think that they can go do that on their own.
Yeah, because I don't think it's malice. Like, I don't think people are
they
buying
just don't think about it
and going, I'm not going to tell nobody,
Right. It's more like, hey, if you love this, there's probably someone in your circle of life that also likes this. Unless you're like me and I'm the odd weirdo that likes horror in my family. You know what I mean? Like, no one else is really into horror except for me. But I have friends that are, you know what I mean? So I'm constantly recommending, people like, what comic books do you read? And sometimes I'll go on other podcasts and they're talking about mainstream comics. And I'm like, no, I'm reading indie. These are the things I can recommend you in indie if this is what you're looking for, because I've read enough of it that I can recommend it. And so they forget that, and even in my updates, I'll have to remind like the people that have backed the campaign, just, hey, if you know someone that would like Path, send them the link to the campaign. Be like, hey, you would really like this. And I remind people all the time from cons, like, you always get that person that's like, I don't read comics. And you're like, that's great. I didn't read comics either. But you know what? There's nothing good to watch right now.
No.
Everything is reboot, recycle, rehash. It's terrible. If you want the good stories, the new stories, indie is where you have to go. And so it's that word of mouth, from people that don't read comics. They're like, oh my God, have you read XYZ? You know what I mean? Because it's different than anything we've read before. That's truly what will help us. And so sometimes we just have to remind people like, William, you're really good at like, hey, can you share this? Can you, give us a shout out? Do you show some support? Like, this is what's needed. But I think the rest of us can do that too. Just be like, hey, can you just give us a share?
Yeah.
Give us a recommendation. If you like reading this book, if you've been reading Path since issue 1, my gosh, tell people what you're reading.
Yeah. And I think the mindset, and you guys might agree with this, because I've like experienced this, is a lot of people won't suggest comic books because their friends and family don't read comic books, so they won't share, they won't mention it. And I'm trying to get people to change their mindset on that, because we're not talking about Spider-Man, we're not talking about Batman, we're not talking about these superhero comics. We're talking about comics that are actually more just storytelling medium that just happen to be in a comic. It's more like TV shows. In my opinion, it is. And, because like right now, we have a ton of, fans reading Psycho Salad and Don't Pay the Ferryman. When I mentioned, I've got people right now reading Path of Pale Rider that's never read comics prior. I mean, Andrea is a great example. She's never read any comics, and she read Psycho South for the first time. She's hooked. I've got tons of other people that's done that. So I'm trying to get people to keep that in thought. You're not promoting superhero comics per se from mainstream company. You're promoting indie books that do read differently. And we're going to wrap this up here in just a second, guys. But you guys kind of agree with that, right? This will be kind of the last statement. You think it's a concept of fans need to kind of stop worrying about who might read something and just put it out there, share it out there, and let other people decide whether that's something they want to try. I mean, are you experiencing that?
Well, that's with anything.
Yeah.
That's with anything, right? It's like some people are like, hey, usually newer creators, they're like, I don't want to keep posting my stuff. I'm worried, that people, hey Jeff, that people will think I'm annoying or whatever, and I'm spamming. And I'm just like, listen, you have to promote your own stuff. You can send it to as many people as you want to. You know what I mean? You're excited and you're passionate, and no one else is going to be able to replicate that. Let people decide yes or no. It's like when people are like, should I invite someone to my Facebook group for Path of the Pale Rider? Invite them all, and they'll choose whether they want to come or not. Talk about your book, and people will choose if they want to come or not. Don't decide for them, because all you're doing is closing the door on a future reader. You don't know.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys agree with that too, that don't try to police what other people might like or don't like. Give them a chance to see it. Tell them about the story. I mean, you guys agree with that, right? Sam?
Yeah, you do agree with me. You have no choice.
It's funny. I was listening to, I think it was a Gary V. And he was like, you got to post multiple times a day. And I remember I started thinking, because I get tons of requests a week to follow me on social media, right? And I get new followers all the time, but they're not converting. So I always wonder, I was like, what's the purpose of following? Are you just you just want to see the art or whatever it is? But so if you're following me and I'm running a campaign, I'm posting 3 to 4 or 5 times a day.
Right.
and I'm tagging all followers, right? So I'm just hitting at followers, right? You have the choice. You made the choice to follow. You can choice to unfollow, right? If you think it's too much. But I'm a creator, and this is the medium that I'm using to get my work out there and get it. Because we know the algorithm don't push it out. As you know, I had somebody. I mean, Forbidden ended last year, and I had somebody just a couple of weeks ago saying, "Hey, is the campaign still on? I just saw your post." Right. So I'm like,
Every time.
I said, you kidding me? So I think if you take the time to invest in the book, let somebody know that you did, share it with friends and say, hey, yo, check this out. So I do that with everything that I support. And I think it's good because as indies, we don't have reach. That's the reality. And we need the community to reach the many people. And so it's just a small little token of appreciation just by saying, look, you know what? I liked it enough that I'm going to share it with my circle.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. And
All right.
for
go
me,
ahead.
I'm my own worst enemy. You never see me going live.
I
No,
know.
you never see me going live. I don't. I don't know why. I don't want to be on camera talking about myself. I feel like, oh, that guy's got an ego, blah, blah, blah. That's just me.
Yeah.
And I know it hurts my books. I mean, I don't know how many friends on Facebook, but really you look at them like, okay, you got a huge friends list. Ooh, okay. That's awesome. I don't talk to half the people.
Right.
And over 85% of them aren't even into comics.
No.
Right. A lot of them high school friends, stuff like that. Okay,
Right.
great. Still never see them, but then you start thinking, okay, well, and then you get more and more. A lot of the more and more that I get are the guys that are like, when I put out, hey, I'm needing a new interior artist. Well, 374 people from India and Europe, message or friend requests. So that's fine.
Right.
But again, I know on my end, I have to step up. It's been 6 years. I need to step up and promote myself more. But at the same time, I'm not that guy to go, okay, well, I'm tired. It's been a long day. You know what? I'm going to go sit here and work, but this is me and sit down here and go live because I'm like, who wants to see me? They would rather see the book. They don't want to listen to me talk. So again, that's where I become my own worst enemy at this. Is I'll post on social media. I'll promote. I'll do the little teasers out. But is it really getting out there? Like Sam said, no. I don't post 5 times a day. I probably should. I'm bad about that. I forget half the time. So age is catching up. But but again, like I said, I have to take that as that's something I got to work on.
Right. Right. Okay. I mean, that's definitely true. And we could all work on different aspects of it for sure. But yeah, I agree. We need more fans sharing out the stuff, word of mouth, and help us get seen. But let's wrap it up. And sorry if I missed anybody questions that you guys might have had in the theme.
Come back next week.
Yep. We'll be back next week, Wednesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Central. We'll have another guest for you guys next week for that. Miss Laurie, well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with Sam. Sam, real quick, tell them where they can find you and a little bit about you, real quick.
I'm Sam. You can catch me on Cast the Craze podcast every Tuesday nights with a different guest every week. You can also find me on dutiesworld.com, and you can also check out Cosmic Wars on Kickstarter right now. And anybody who's been watching this stream and makes a physical pledge will get a free original sketch drawing from me. So back at tonight. Tag me saying that I watched you on Williams and the team's show, and I'll make sure that you get that sketch card from me. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Miss Laurie, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laurie Calcaterra, and I'm super tired. But I have a live campaign right now as well. It's Path of the Pale Rider. We have issues 1 through 8 right now. I do have catch-up tiers. I have where you can just get issue 1. I have where you can get a mini catch-up of 1 through 4. I have hot sauce, and I have some amazing things on this campaign. So please go check me out on Kickstarter. We end on Friday. You can also find me on all the social medias. And I also host a weekly podcast called the Tuesday Morning Brew every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also interview indie comic creators and writers and artists, and so every now and again I get someone different, like a sculptor. I had a ventriloquist once, and it wasn't Sam. My show isn't as cool as Sam's, but it's close. We'll just put it that way. We
Nice.
drink coffee because it's earlier in the day, but so yeah, come check out my stuff. Well, I like to kill characters. It's great.
And Mr. Chris?
Chris Hayes, I've got nothing going on right now. We're about to launch a Kickstarter from our first ever hardcover called Ferryman Tales, which has 6 short stories in it that I did 2 of them. The other 4 are other independent writers and how they see the ferryman, and just let them have it. And I'm pretty excited about it because all the stories are really good. It'll be a hardcover Kickstarter coming out probably in about 2 weeks. I'm about to, starting this week, going to start building the pages on that. But you can find me over at Charter Comics on Facebook. Go follow us there because we post everything that is going on.
And you also have a Comic-Con coming up that you promote.
We do. Cowtown Comic Con. If you hadn't got your table, I would jump on it because it's about done. It's almost gone. Artist Alley is pretty close to being out. So for anybody who's watching that wants to do that show, it is focused on comic creators, July 18th and 19th in Waxahachie, Texas. We got some really good guests coming in. And if you come out there and you're looking for comics and you want to see indie creators, then that is a great show for it because we have a lot of them.
Yep. But that is it, guys. I'm going to hang around for a few minutes after everybody bounces, just kind of talk about a few things coming up and talk a little bit more about their projects. Sam, thank you so much for being here with us on our first episode. I really do appreciate that. And guys, again, make sure to go back his Kickstarter while it's live. Laurie, Chris, thank you guys for being here too. I know it's late. I know you guys are exhausted. But I still appreciate you guys hanging out on Wednesday night. But thank you guys so much.
Thank you. It was great.
Thanks for having me on. And
thank you.
I say that like I'm not going to be here next week. I don't know.
We're here every week.
I need to go kill like 17 bugs in my kitchen. So.
Well, it's just more protein. Just put them on a sandwich.
William, I'm going to put them in an envelope and send them to you. You enjoy that protein.
But have a good night, guys. Thank you again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Sam. All right, guys. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. This is something that, I definitely appreciate Chris and Laurie for wanting to do this because, again, this is something that we're doing for you guys. We want to help you guys have some fun. We want to help you guys learn about new creators and new artists and stuff like that you may not have seen before. And if you want to be a guest on the show, no matter what facet you fit into with this industry, feel free to PM me or comment on the post. I would say the safest thing to do is PM me, and I'll try to figure out a time to squeeze you in. But again, we're going to do our damnedest to make sure this is an every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Central, for you guys. As long as you're showing up, we'll keep doing it. Because like I said, we're doing this at the end of a long ass day anyway. I've been up since 4:30 this morning, and we've been working all day since. Don't forget, like I said, go back Sam's Kickstarter if you hadn't had a chance. Definitely go back Laurie Calcaterra's Kickstarter with Path of the Pale Rider. I've got 3 covers on that Kickstarter with the nice cover for issue number 8 along with the naughty. Then we also have the throwback cover on her Kickstarter for issue number 2. So I've got 3 covers on that Kickstarter. Also, make sure you check out Omnia Servo. That Kickstarter is going to be ending here soon also for Mike Harris. I've got a cover on that one with my female God of War, Ares cover. And again, if you guys have not had a chance to go back Psycho Sal Collector's Edition Omnibus, please make sure you guys jump over there and grab it. We only have about 35 or so, 40 hours left. Damn good Kickstarter. Lots of goodies on there. We've already unlocked like 5 stretch goals. We just passed the 8K stretch goal not too long ago. And to be honest with you, we are not that far from the $9,000 stretch goal. If we end up hitting the 9K stretch goal, every single physical backer who grabbed a Omnibus Collector's Edition not only gets the free signature, but they also get a free baller painted remark on the cover of their books. So help us out, guys. We're not that far. Psycho Sal is one hell of a ride if you haven't read it. The Omnibus has all 9 issues in it, 210 plus pages in this one oversized omnibus. Like I said, I can't stress enough, it's one hell of a ride. This is hardcore. There's no comedy, no levity. It is pure psychological horror, and it is balls out and pedal to the metal. So go give it a shot. I've got the items on the Kickstarter for a great price. We have the regular cover, softback and hardback versions, but of course, for a lot of you fans who love the blood covers, we do have the blood cover for the softback and hardback version also. So go grab it. Like I've said before, I can't stress this enough. When this Kickstarter ends, I will not have these books at my table or on my website, except for the regular softback version right here. And right now, that book's on the Kickstarter at $40. When this Kickstarter ends, that thing will be $80 a pop. So go check it out. I promise you, you will not regret that book. It is just an absolute, freight train. So go check it out. Thank you guys again for hanging out with us tonight. I cannot thank you enough. We had a great audience. A good number of people came in and hung out, shared it out. You guys had some really awesome questions. So again, I appreciate you guys taking time out of your evening to visit with us. But I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Go back to Kickstarters, guys. And if you're already back, then thank you so much. Make sure you share them out. Make sure you tell your friends and family about these books, because like I said, when it comes to books like what we're creating, it's not your normal comic book type stuff from Marvel, DC, etc. These things read a whole different way. And like I said, we've got people that are hardcore hooked on these stories that are not comic fans whatsoever. Yep, Cowtown Comic Con is a great show. It's Chris and Kim and them do an incredible job with how they promote Texoma Comic Con in Durant, Oklahoma, and how they promote and run Cowtown Comic Con in Texas. Like I said, they definitely do a great job on it. But I'm going to get off here, guys. I have to finish packing because I leave first thing in the morning for San Antonio, Texas. I will be at Big Texas Terror there this coming weekend. Next weekend, I will be in Cleveland, Ohio at Fan Expo Cleveland. The following weekend, I will be in Orlando, Florida at MegaCon Orlando. And then the last weekend of March, I will be back in San Antonio, Texas for Mockingbird Lane Comic Con. Don't forget, soon we'll be jumping into my other creator-owned IP with Sentinel Veil of the Damned. So be ready for that. That is coming soon. That's about my war veteran. That book's dealing with PTSD and suicide and depression and things like that our veterans go through and stuff. So make sure you're ready for that one. But yeah, guys, I'm going to get off here. You guys have a great night. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you later. Be good.